All right, y'all. Good morning. We in the building, early morning style. I be up late on other people stuff. Bad. Good morning, bro. What's going on with you? You see, I'm up here. I'm up nice and early. What's on your mind today, Bad? I want to talk a little sports because I seem to get caught up in all of the politics of the day, and I know it. See, I work at night, so yeah, I work the overnight. So in the mornings after I get home, I get me a couple hours sleep, and then I'm right back up at it. But yeah, I just want to talk a little sports. Okay, yeah, I do plastic. I make plastic for a living. But yeah, I just wanted to, talk a little sports real quick because it's a lot going on. You got the NBA, got the WNBA, got Major League Baseball, F1, wrestling. It's a lot. It's a lot going on in the sports world right now. Got a lot going on. If you into soccer, we do that too. We could talk about Messi in the MLS. Okay, I'm cool with the bushes, bro. I be in the bushes too. But yeah, this morning, anything sports we can do. I'll save my political persuasions for later. But yeah, anything sports we could do. We could talk about baseball. I don't know what y'all teams are, but mine's is the Yankees. I'm a Yankee fan because I'm a New Yorker, obviously. So I root for pretty much all the New York teams. Yeah, so we could definitely talk about the Yankees, Aaron Judge, how this man got 34 homers before the All Star break, which is crazy work. This man might hit 60 again. We've never seen that in baseball. Somebody hit 60 home runs back to back years. That would be truly insane if he was able to pull that off. That would be insane. We could also talk about W too. Wow, you have a Tim McCarver and Pete Rose signed baseball. Man, you better not ever get rid of that thing. You better not ever get rid of that thing. That need to be a family heirloom that gets passed down from generation to generation. Like Pete Rose was one of my favorite players. I was a little too young to watch Tim McCarver. I mean, I remember Tim McCarver. He played for the Phillies when I was a little kid. I think he was Steve Carlton's personal catcher when I was little. But yeah, I remember him and Deion Sanders pouring champagne on him. He ain't take too kindly to that. But Tim McCarver was a great baseball dude. He really was. Like the man knew his baseball. Tim McCarver, yeah. Now that's a dude who knew his stuff in the baseball realm. Like Tim McCarver really knew his stuff. And as for Pete Rose, we all know about Charlie Hustle, man. Charlie Hustle, easily, in my opinion, the greatest hitter of all time. Even though his average don't reflect that, but I mean, 4,200 hits, like nobody's ever catching that. Nobody's ever gonna even come close to that. So, yeah, that part. Yeah, definitely that part. Like 4,200 hits, nobody's ever gonna ever come close to that. But yeah, Pete Rose, that was my guy. That was my fucking guy. Him, Don Mattingly, like at growing up, those were my guys right there. Pete Rose, Don Mattingly, and yes, Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden. Those are my guys growing up in the 80s. That's who I messed with. Pete Rose, Don Mattingly, Darryl Strawberry, Doc Gooden. Those are my guys in the baseball realm. And Don Mattingly, he's like super, super underrated. I don't even understand how he's not in the Hall of Fame. Like Don Mattingly he was the Yankees. And it's a shame that, all the Yankee teams that he played on didn't go anywhere. And the one team that he did play on that actually went somewhere, got knocked out in the first round. Yeah, Kirby Puckett was that guy too. What happened to Kirby Puckett was very sad. He got hit by a baseball and then fucked his eye up, and then it killed him eventually. Miss D, what's going on? How are you doing? I know you were happy yesterday with that Sky game. Angel Reese, 15-11. She's been on a real tear. She's been on a real tear. Gotta give her credit. Yeah, nah, Kirby Puckett wasn't overrated. If anything, he was underrated. Nah, Kirby Puckett was not overrated at all. If anything, he was underrated. And yeah, yeah, that part, Miss D, he was underrated for sure. But he was a great baseball player, not a good one. He was a great baseball player. Hell, he brung the Twins to two World Series championships. So yeah. So how you think your girl performed yesterday, Miss D? I thought Angel was pretty good, and Rebecca Allen, she looked like she had a career game last night. Yeah, Rebecca Allen was all over the place. She was hitting from all over the place. You get Rebecca Allen like that on some regular shit, yeah, you better watch out. Cause that's all the Sky really missing. They just need another, like, somebody who could put the ball in the basket consistently. And yes, her 2K cover do look go hard. I give her that. Yeah, her 2K cover, they did a good job with that. And I was very happy for her to see her on the 2K cover. When you get to be on the 2K cover, that means you're doing something. You definitely doing something when you get to be on the cover of 2K. You definitely doing something. So yeah, Angel gonna be all right. It's just, like I tell y'all all the time on that side of the fence. Um, the roster is just sorry now. Oh yeah, I do all sports, bad. I'm a sports junkie. I do all sports. But yeah, Rebecca Allen went crazy yesterday. But it seems like Chicago Sky, they seem to play good against the Dallas Wings. Where is this effort against the rest of the league? Is my thing. Like, yeah, I seen to play good against the Wings, and yeah, I seen to play good against the Sparks, but they seem to fail against everybody else, which is very weird. Yeah, this the roster, Miss D. The roster don't fit what it just don't fit. I'll just put it like that. Yeah, Lakers and Mavericks Summer League. Yeah, I've been getting into that too, the Summer League stuff, trying to get my bearings in place to look at all of the young players and stuff. I was watching it was Utah, San Antonio. They were playing on the Summer League. I caught a little bit of that at work. But yeah, maybe we'll see Cooper Flag in the Summer League game. We'll see. And yeah, Ace did look good. Ace definitely looked good. I don't know how he gonna fit, but he looked good yesterday. And yeah, Jeff P definitely messed up. He destroyed this roster of the Sky. The Sky roster is sorry. I don't care what nobody tell me. You take away Angel Reese and Cardoso, they roster ain't really all that great. I mean, and this is from somebody who likes Ariel Atkins. I think Ariel Atkins is a really good player, but their roster just overall is bad. Art was good, bro. Yeah, I'm up early in the morning after messing with y'all fools late into the night. But yeah, Art, we on our sports shit today. I'll leave my political persuasions for Bob stuff. Oh, Miss D, why I got you in the building? Tell me what you thought of the All-Star teams, Team Clark and Team Fee. Do you think that was set up? You think it was like rigged for it to be like that? Or you think they were just randomly picking players? I would love to hear your take on that because I thought the teams were interesting, to say the least. Yeah, Art, you up pretty early, man. You ain't getting no sleep. We gonna need you to take a nap so you can have the energy for tonight, man. Yeah, we gonna need you to take you a nap, Art, because we're gonna need you to have energy for tonight. But yeah, Miss D, I would love to hear your take. I dig it, Art. Yeah, I would love to hear your take on two all-star teams for the W. Team Clark and Team Fee. Because I really thought that the selections were very, very interesting. How they built these teams. All right, I appreciate you, Art, for coming through. You know, I ain't no live bunny like that, but you know, I'm trying to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get better. I think this is like a good time for me to like go live, like a little bit before CT and all that stuff. So I get my point across. Yeah, I thought it was petty her trading the coach too. It tickled me her getting rid of Cheryl Reeve. That was funny for me. But I kind of already knew that was gonna happen because you know CC don't care for Cheryl Reeve and Cheryl Reeve don't care for her. So It wouldn't have made sense for her to be the coach for CC team. It just wouldn't have made sense. So at the end of the day, I think it was the right decision. It was really petty how it came off, but it was the right decision. And if I'm CC, I'm picking my teammates too. Fuck that. Why wouldn't I pick my teammates? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure any player would pick their teammates. But you see, she didn't pass on Asia Wilson, though. She made sure she got Asia Wilson because, it's Asia Wilson. And here's another thing I hate to break to people. CC is going, if the All-Star format stays how it is, she's going to be captain for the next 7 to 8 years. CC, whether she play a single game or all of the games, she's going to be a captain if they keep this format how it is. Fan with the 50% fan and 25% player and 25%, organizations or whatever, coaches or whatever. If they keep that format, CC going to be captain every year for the next 7, 8 years. So that if they don't want that to change, they need to change the format. Because whether y'all like it or not, she's always going to get the most votes. Until somebody prove me wrong, she's going to get the most votes from the fans. But, I'm always into being proven wrong. You know what I mean? So we shall see. Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. See, people act like CC and Angel Reese don't get along. They get along just fine. They don't hate each other. There's no personal beef between the two women. I know on the YouTube streets, you listen to the YouTube streets, you think these women hate each other, and they don't. They don't hate each other, and I think the way CC play and the way AR play, their two games would mix good together if you put them on the same team. That's just me and what I think. I just hope I just hope that Angel Reese get the playing time in the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Because she is a reserve. I mean, she got to come off the bench and wait. I mean, I'm all into NECA and everything. I like NECA Ogumake, but I want to see more Angel Reese. I want to see the younger ladies. Yeah, I know the vast majority of Caitlin Clark fans, to keep it a buck, have really been really racial and assholes about it. Like, it's okay to root for your favorite player. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you turn that fandom into racism, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. And I see, and I see that on both sides though, Miss D, to be honest with you. It's not something I don't see on the Angel Reese side too. Like, you have some Angel Reese fans that are just as fanatic as the Caitlin Clark fans are. So, like, my thing is, can we just stick to the basketball? Why is that so hard to do? We do it in the men's side of things all the time. We don't make it racial when it comes to the men. So why we got to do that to the women? Why we can't just stick to the basketball? And yeah, this I agree with. I definitely agree with that. If she won MVP, they would go crazy. It would be a madhouse. Now let's call ace and a spade a spade. Cece is not even having that good of a year like that. She's been hurt half the time. And then when she's on the floor, she's not really, performing at the standard that she set for herself last year. Let's just call it what it is. Like Caitlin Clark, you look at her numbers. Matter of fact, why I got it in front of me, because I wanted to be prepared for this stream if asked. Let's look at the numbers. For one, the Fever got smacked last night by the Valkyries, 80-61. Oh yeah, I've been saying that they've been looking for a great white hope. And if it ain't going to be Caitlin Clark, it's going to be Paige. It's going to be something white. Know that. Know that. It's going to be something white. But let's look at her numbers. She had 10 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 for 12 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 4 turnovers in 25 minutes. I mean, a lot of us listen, yo, Art, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan, and I say that unapologetically. I've been a Caitlin Clark fan. I like the way she plays. She reminds me of a female Trae Young. Like Caitlin Clark reminds me of Trae Young. Her game is like, I know a lot of casual basketball fans, they equate her to Steph Curry because of all of the long 3-pointers. But really, she's Trae Young. She's not Steph Curry. Yeah, I can see that, Miss D, that because Paige is quick to speak for black women, and they don't like when the whiteys speak for the black women. They don't like that at all. But Paige's game is going to propel her into that spotlight, because Paige is a beast, bro. Like, Paige, she's a 3-dimensional scorer. She could get to the basket. She got a mid-range game. She could hit the 3. There's not an area on the court that Paige can't score from. Like, Paige is a bona fide bucket. And she just on a bad team. Like AR, she got the same problem Angel Reese has. She's the best player on a bad team. And when you're the best player on the bad team, you're going to have all type of great statistics, but the team not winning is bad. What makes sports racial? Well, here's the thing, Art. It's not that sports in general is racial. It's just the WNBA has become racialized because the two most known players, but meaning Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, the media has spent it in a way to racialize it. Okay, we got to do some history. A couple of years ago, these ladies faced each other in the national championship game for the NCAA. And at the end of the game, when LSU beat Iowa, Angel Reese, in her bag, she went to Caitlin Clark and started hitting her with the John Cena. And ever since she did that, it's become a black versus white thing instead of, just two women playing basketball talking shit. That's the issue. That's why you see all of the racial animus. It stems from that one moment in time. That one moment in time created all of this. Like, you be in the YouTube streets, and if you follow like the sports, the W in particular, you have two distinct camps. You have a Caitlin Clark camp where you have content creators. Everything they do is Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark, right? And then on the other side, you have Angel Reese camp, where all of their content is Angel Reese, Angel Reese, Angel Reese. So you have a racial divide when it comes to the two women. And let's keep it funky. The majority of Caitlin Clark fans are white, but her biggest supporters, like the people who talk the loudest, at least from what I've seen, seem to be black men, which is really crazy. You would expect white men to speak highly of Caitlin Clark and push her, but no, it's not coming from white men. It's coming from black men in particular. And I think a lot of people on the Angel Reese side is really disturbed by that. Like you have this beautiful black woman who's balling out, but y'all not pushing her, and she's a black woman. Why y'all riding the coattails of this white girl? You understand what I'm saying? And you're a black man. Like, what is wrong with you? And I think people, get caught up in the racial part of it, and they forget to look at the basketball. And yeah, the commissioner don't make it better, Miss D. But here's the thing about the commissioner. People got to remember, Kathy works for the owners. She don't work for the players. She don't give a shit about what the players think. She's an advocate for the owners at the end of the day. Oh yeah, more black men do watch the WNBA than white. You know what, Bad? Not for nothing, I make this point all the time, that more men watch the WNBA than the women do. But yeah, we gonna get into that because that's a real problem. Like the WNBA, I've made this argument a lot, that the base of the WNBA fans are men. And this is why they was having such problems marketing their players, especially 10, 15 years ago, because people don't want to talk about the sexuality of the players. Yeah, and the example I give is this. See, in the WNBA, you have ladies in relationships with other ladies. And sometimes you have ladies in relationships with other ladies playing on the same team. Could you imagine that in the NBA? Just let that sink in for a second. One, you got, don't nobody want to hear the do funny stuff when it come to men. And Miss D, a do funny is a GAY person. I just used the term do funny because I learned that from another content creator, because I've learned that you can't say GAY on YouTube. So my man CT, Chaotic Truth, he came up with this term do funny to describe the GAY people. So I use that term for YouTube purposes only. But the WNBA has a sexuality problem, and they don't want to address that. It's not good TV when you have women in relationships with each other playing on the same team. It don't market well, especially when you have a fan base, when the majority of your fan base are men. It's very hard to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to be offensive. It's hard to market a stud. Like, it's just hard. And I don't care how talented we could go. Diana Taurasi, you could make a GOAT case for Diana Taurasi, right? But you couldn't market Diana Taurasi because she's a flaming stud. And don't nobody want to buy in. Men don't want to buy into that. That's just the reality of it. Like, Brittany Griner in her prime, top 5, right? But you can't market her. Like, Brittany Griner in her prime, you couldn't market her. Breanna Stewart got the same problem, right? Breanna Stewart, one of the top 5 players in the league. But you can't, it's hard to market her because of her sexuality. Oh, you use the term yag. I mean, well, at least the NBA, they do a much better job. If it is on the DL, they do a much better job keeping it under wraps. See, WNBA, they're open with it. And that's the problem. I think they need to become a little bit more closeted. Nah, they didn't market Liz Cambridge. Liz Cambridge was in the league a couple of years. Matter of fact, Liz Cambridge still holds, she shares the record with Angel Wilson for scoring the most points in a WNBA game. But you know, Liz Cambridge was a hothead, and she couldn't get along in the locker room with the other ladies. But Liz Cambridge was a really good player. She's in China right now. Yeah, I know. I got to get consistent with it, Art. But being on CT show and being on Bob's show, that takes a lot out of me. Like, I will have to spend less time doing that and more time doing this, and I think I will in a minute. Again, I'm just trying to get my feet off the ground and get used to like being in front of the camera talking. Like, that's never been my strong suit, just being in front of a camera talking. Yeah, Liz Cambridge was on the Sports Illustrated cover. But see, this is pre Caitlin Clark, pre Angel Reese. See, like the this is just 3 years ago. 3 years ago, wasn't nobody watching the WNBA like that. And you could tell, wasn't nobody watching. Just pull up the All-Star votes. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up for you. Let me Google it for you so I could have a point of reference to see what I'm talking about. Show me the WNBA All-Star tally for the year 2022. Yeah, I want to show what the votes were, and eventually I'm gonna learn how to pull it up on the screen so I could learn how to do it that way. But I wanna get into the actual vote count because the vote count is very, very important. Let me see if I could find it. Yeah, gonna find the actual vote count. Okay, here we go. This is the year 2022. This is 2 years before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese came to the league. Asia Wilson was the number one vote getter with 88,407 votes. Let's keep that in mind. Asia Wilson was the number one vote getter in 2022 with 88,400 votes. 88,000. Now, we're going to go to this year, 2025. And let's see what the vote counts is for 2025. Okay, Ms. D, because I was using my other device to like pull up stuff. See, my thing is it don't give me the present part on my phone. Yeah, I'm about to tell y'all right now what the vote count was. So Caitlin Clark, number 1,318,000 votes. This is in a 3 year period. We went from 85,000. Nah, I'm on my other phone. Like, I wanted to use my computer do the StreamYard stuff, but the problem I'm having with my laptop is my camera is showing black and white. Like it looks like some 1950 shit. So until I get that fixed, I'm gonna have to, just stay on my phone for a minute. But yeah, we went from 88,000 votes in 2022 to 1,000,003 in 2025. And now, mind you, I'm like one of the biggest A'ja Wilson fans ever. I still think A'ja Wilson is the standard, but it won't match Art Beard though. Bad. A'ja Wilson is still the standard in my opinion. She's still the best basketball player on the planet in the women's game. But for as great as A'ja Wilson is, she has not moved the needle at all. And that's not good. When the best player in the league isn't moving the needle, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. Like, let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is not the best player in the league. She's not. She's not even close to being the best player in the league. But what Caitlin Clark does do, she moves the needle. And I know she gets there's a lot of hate because of that. Because she moves the needle. Listen, Angel is moving the needle too. You just don't get on the cover of 2K without moving the needle a little bit. Like A'ja Wilson was on the cover of 2K too. You know what I mean? So this is not a new phenomenon. Yeah, last year they had A'ja Wilson on the cover of 2K. So I'm happy that the black women are getting they do on the 2K covers. I love that. That is a great thing. And, this is my little public service announcement real quick. Like, share, sub. I appreciate all that. The Cash App's at the bottom of the screen. If you want to send a donation, I take 50 cents, $1, anything to help support a brother. Y'all can help me get a mic because I can use a mic. Yeah, no, I listen, Miss D, I agree with you 100%. It's never been Caitlin Clark. It's been her fans. Her fans make it toxic because they want to racialize the shit instead of just keeping it to the basketball. Like you want to try to make Caitlin Clark look good by making Angel Reese look bad. And that I have a real issue with that. Like, that's annoying to me. Like, why does it take for you to try to make somebody look good off the back of making somebody look bad is crazy to me. Yeah, just enjoy the basketball. If you want to critique her in the basketball realm, that's fine. But once we start making it a racial and social thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a turn off for me. Like, I don't want to hear about all of the off the court bullshit. Nobody care. I care about what's happening between the lines. Like, I don't give a shit about all that off the court bullshit. Cause for me, it's bullshit. Yeah, I don't care about all the off the court stuff. Let's stick to the basketball. And in terms of the basketball, Caitlin Clark is not performing like that this year. She's struggling. Let's just say what it is. She's struggling. She hasn't really found her shot yet. She's turning the ball over a lot. You know what I mean? And I don't think Stephanie White is helping the situation either. Like, trying to slow Caitlin down, trying to get her in the half court offense and all that. Christy Sides was trying to do that too. Listen, Caitlin Clark is not a half court player. I mean, she's a system player. She needs to run up and down the floor. That half court shit is not for her. It's just not. You want to get the best of Caitlin Clark, you need to have her in transition. And that's just the bottom line, basically. Yeah, she's struggling. She's stinking up the joint, really. Well, let's call it what it is. She's stinking up the joint, and she's stinking up the joint because they're not playing her like how you supposed to be playing her. Like Caitlin Clark needs to be running. Like she needs to be running. She needs to be playing like how you see Tyrese Halliburton on the Pacers play. You know, soon even on a made shot, she needs to be up and out of there. You understand what I'm saying? She needs to be flying up and down the court. That's where she's best at. Because Caitlin Clark game, she creates space for other players because of her 3-point shooting. I mean, it's both, Miss D. It's both. She did work on her body, but she didn't really work on her flaws. I agree with that part. She didn't work on her flaws. She's still turning the ball over too much. But yeah, you got it. Steph White is a part of the problem though, because she wants to play, you know, the old school WNBA inside out, half court, feed Aaliyah Boston type, post game type game, and it just don't work for somebody like a Caitlin Clark who needs to run up and down the court. Like that's the issue. It's not what they're playing; it's how they're playing. Like the Fever aren't a good half court team; they're just not. Like the Liberty are a great half court team. If you want to, compare dynamics, like you look at the New York Liberty, they don't need to run up and down the floor. They kill you in the half court, especially when they're healthy. You get Double J and Breanna Stewart and Ionescu out there all at the same time, and they're all healthy. They kill you. They destroy you in the half court. But the Fever don't have it like how the Liberty have it. They don't have the bigs like how the Liberty have bigs. The Liberty bigs could not only they could kill you in the post, they could stretch the floor and pop threes on you. Like Aaliyah Boston's not popping no three on you. So in the half court, the Fever struggle. I mean, not for nothing, the Sky have the same issue when it comes to being in the half court. Like the Sky are a much better team when they're in transition. A much better team. They struggle just as much as the Fever do in a half court setting. Let's just be honest. Like sometimes it's not just the team, sometimes it's the system. You could have a good team, but if you have a bad system, it's going to make the team look bad. And I think the Fever, in terms of their system needs an overhaul. They need to get out the whole half court thing and get the running, because when they're running, they're a far better team when they're running or when they're putting the ball up quickly. Like I don't want to see the Fever wasting 15, 20 seconds on the shot clock in a half court set. I need to see them putting up the ball 7, 8 seconds into the shot clock. They seem to do better when they speed the game up. Oh yeah, for sure. Sabrina and Paige mid range are way better than Caitlin Clark at this point. Yeah, Miss D, I agree with that 100%. Like Caitlin Clark is not a 3-dimensional scorer right now. She's a 1-dimensional scorer. She don't really drive to the hole like that. She very rarely take a mid range shot. Like everything is high risk, high reward. Is either she gonna take a bunch of threes and hit them, or take a bunch of threes and miss them. And you can't continue to play that way and think you're going to win games, is my thing. Yeah, you can't continue to play that way and think you're going to win games doing that. Not going to win a lot of games doing that like that. But it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, because the W is it's interesting, Art. I like watching the W. For one, I like watching my black women succeed. That's number one. And two, like the W is very entertaining now. It wasn't entertaining 5, 7 years ago. It just wasn't. So I just keep it a buck. And I've been watching the WNBA since its inception. WNBA started in 1997. I've been watching women's basketball before women's basketball became a professional thing. You know what I mean? I watched a lot of these ladies in college and all that stuff. So hold on 1 second, y'all. Just trying to throw my thing in the Discord real quick. See if that helps. But yeah, the W is actually really entertaining now. We got a lot of characters in the WNBA that makes it a little bit more fun to watch because, let's call an ace and a spade a spade. The W hasn't really gotten any traction for years and years because, like I said before, men are the foundation base fan base for the W, and keep it funky. Under the rim basketball isn't very exciting like that because the women don't dunk. They don't throw alley-oops to each other. They're not dunking on each other. So the lack of that kind of physicality and athleticism, it makes it kind of boring for the casual fan who want to see dunks and alley-oops and stuff like that, stuff that you see in the men's game. You don't see that in the women's game. You have to be more of a basketball purist to enjoy the women's game because they're not dunking the basketball. They're not throwing alley-oops to each other. So you got to be more of a purist when it comes to watching the women's game because it's under the rim. This is, I was trying to tell people this a year ago before the season even started that you were going to see the women shoot a lot more 3-pointers this year than you ever seen them shoot before. Because let's be honest, the 3-point shooting is exciting. People like to see the long range 30 feet logo threes and all that. People like that. Steph made that popular, and now it's everything now. That's basketball now. Everything is a logo three. You're not doing it right if you're not hitting logo threes at this point. Hell, LeBron James at 40 something years old is shooting logo threes, bro. Like that's the game now. It's 3-point shooting, space, and running to the rim. It's not the inside out basketball we grew up watching. It's not that anymore. And for the W in particular, the quicker these women adjust to the new style of play, the better off, the more exciting it will be, and the more views and watches they will get. That's just the reality. Like, don't nobody want to see you dump the ball into Brittany Griner all game long. Nobody want to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to watch that. People want, and as much as people don't seem to hate Caitlin Clark or whatever the case may be, people want to see 3-point shooting. People just want that. Like Arike. Arike is a high volume shooter, but she's very entertaining because she's going to let that thing fly. Yeah, Arike going to let that thing fly. And it's entertaining to watch. Even if she misses every damn shot, just the mere fact that she going to let that ball fly is entertaining. And we need that. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App for your boy. We in the building right now. We in the building. Yes, I agree with that, Miss D. You got a lot of motherfuckers out here that just want to jack threes and can't shoot worth a damn. And yes, that could be very annoying to watch too when you watch somebody who don't shoot threes and they just jacking threes. Like, yeah, that's annoying as fuck. I agree with you with that. That's very fucking annoying. Nobody want to see somebody who can't shoot just arbitrarily just shooting everything under the fucking sun. Like, that's fucking annoying. I don't want to see that either. Yeah, that's annoying for me. But I do think it's going to be a wonderful All-Star game, and I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be very, very interesting because unlike the men, the women actually play in their All-Star game. Like, the men don't play in their All-Star game. That's why the NBA been struggling with their All-Star game for all these years, because the men don't want to play. They don't want to play in the All-Star game because there's no real benefit for them. But for the women, you actually get a real game when you watch the women. That's why I love the WNBA All-Star game, because the women, they're going to play, and they're going to play hard like it's a regular game. And yeah, the anybody who don't watch the WNBA like that, take it from me, watch the WNBA All-Star game. You will be entertained, I promise you, because the women are going to play. They're going to play. Yeah, it's a lot of games, Miss D. Let me help you out. Let me help you out, Miss D. Let's see what they got on the schedule today. Well, it's only 2 games today. It's the Lynx versus the Sparks and the Aces and the Mystics. The All-Star game will be, let me tell you, Art. The All-Star game is July 19th. Yes, July 19th. I'll put it in the comments for you, too. Yeah, and it's going to be entertaining. All right, Miss D, thank you for coming through. Hopefully, I can see more people like you from that side to come to my channel and chop it up with me. You seem to be the only one that come through. But I appreciate it, Miss D. I really do. Thank you for coming through and hollering at your boy. I appreciate that. But yeah, the WNBA, their All-Star game is going to be really good, and we gonna see. Yeah, we definitely gonna see. But we can also talk in regular NBA too, man. You know, the summer league done started up and all that. We get to look at all of the good young players, the Ace Baileys and the Cooper Flags, because Dallas played today. They played the Lakers today in the summer league, so we might get a Cooper Flag sighting. That'd be real interesting to see how that works. And you know, we could talk anything, all things sports, man. We could do baseball, we could do wrestling. You know, in a couple of months, you know, football start back up, and I'm a huge football fan. So when football starts, then you're really gonna see me on here talking a whole bunch of stuff about the Cowboys and how they suck. And yeah, I'm going to have a good time railing on the Dallas Cowboys. Even though my New York Giants aren't all that good. My New York Giants actually suck. But I'm a Cowboy hater to my core. So I'm going to, hate on the Cowboys because it's fun to do that. Let's see about these stories that's popping up on my feed right now. Devin Booker, 145 million max extension. Does he deserve the money? Probably, yeah. But Phoenix, that the Suns are they're gonna have a rough. You traded Durant. The Durant experiment didn't work for them. But now you want to give Devin Booker 145 million? I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. What else we got here? We could do tennis too, because I'm a tennis person myself. I watch tennis. You got the the Wimbledon semifinals, right? You got Skinner and Djokovic. That's gonna be that's gonna be a good fucking match right there for any of y'all who like tennis. Sinner and Djokovic, that's gonna be must see TV right there. And in the other semifinal, you got Fritz and Alcaraz, Carlos. I have a hard time saying his last name, but his last name is Alcaraz, Alcaraz. I just call him Carlos. But Carlos is a beast. And yeah, Carlos get right. So that's the men's semifinal. Let's see the women's semifinal. You had an upset. You had the American Anna Sanova beat Sablenka, or what's her name? Sabalenka. I have a hard time saying her name too, Sabalenka, the Belarus girl. So you're going to have an American in the Wimbledon final, which is good. It's always good to see Americans in the finals. But the women always do better than the men when it comes to Americans in tennis. The women have been outpacing the men for a long time now. Matter of fact, the American men really haven't been good since late 80s, early 90s, when you had Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi and people like that, Jimmy Connors. You know what I mean? Like, the American men, has been a while since you had a good crop of American men tennis players. But yeah, we got the Wimbledon going on. And yeah, it's just we got a lot of stuff going on. It's a heavy sports thing going on right now. And for all my baseball fans, I do the Boys of Summer too. People don't really get into baseball, I noticed, though, not until September, October, until the playoffs about to start. Because, let's be honest, baseball can be, if you're not a purist or just a junkie like me that just loves sports, it's hard to sit and just watch a whole baseball game. I know it is. For a casual person, it's hard. It's hard to just sit and look at an entire baseball game from inning 1 to inning 9. It's hard to do if you don't really love baseball like that. It's hard for a casual person just to sit and watch a whole baseball game just because, especially a regular season baseball game. Like, it's just like pulling teeth. But again, if you enjoy listening to me talk, like, share, subscribe, hit your boy with a cash app. I take any donations, 50 cents, $1. I'm cool with any of that. So, oh shit, it's Tarkin. What's good, Tarkin? I'm just over here ranting, doing my little sports thing because I get my political fix on your guys' channel, Bob's channel, Just the Guys, and I get my little political fix there. So I just want to come on here and get my sports off. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App. You know the drill, Gimpy. You've been doing this a long time. You, Lord Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm glad that name stuck because it fits you. But yeah, I was just over here. I was talking about the WNBA for a minute, but now I was trying to transition and talking about my Yankees and how Aaron Judge is going to hit another 60 home runs. What's JTG, Gimpy? I don't know what that is. Yeah, explain to me what JTG is. But yeah, I just want to talk about how my boy, Just the Guys. Okay, got you. Just the Guys, JTG, got you. But yeah, like, sub, share, hit the Cash App. All donations is appreciated. And what you think about my boy Aaron Judge? Do you think he got the prospects to hit 60 for 2 straight years in a row? I think he's gonna do it. And if he do, that's gonna be crazy work. Yeah, like every time CT get into the sports stuff, he seems to tune out because he don't watch sports like that. So like I have a hard time talking sports with CT because he don't talk sports. Yeah, I would love to do a GOAT topic, but in my personal opinion, I don't think any team sport other than hockey has a GOAT for real. Because if when you're the GOAT, the acronym GOAT means greatest of all time, right? And if you the greatest of all time, then that really can't be up for debate. You understand what I'm saying? If you're the greatest of all time, you're the greatest of all time. There's no debating the greatest of all time. And that's why I say hockey is the only team sport with a certifiable GOAT, because Wayne Gretzky is the GOAT and there's not a debate. You understand what I'm saying? It's Wayne Gretzky and that's it. Yeah, that's it though. When it comes to hockey, listen, Ovechkin got the most goals now, right? He's the all-time goal scorer, but he's not the GOAT. We all know that as many goals as Ovechkin got, he's not Wayne Gretzky. Like Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky is here, and then everybody else, and then it's everybody else. Yeah, that part can be hands down. Like there's no debate when it comes to Wayne Gretzky being the GOAT of hockey. There's not a debate. See, when we start talking football and basketball and baseball, you have all these debates. Well, it's Jordan. No, it's LeBron. No, it's Kareem. No, it's Magic. You understand what I'm saying? Like the fact that you could debate it tells me that there's no GOAT. Because when you're the GOAT, there's not a debate. Like in the individual sports, right? Let's take gymnastics for example, right? Simone Biles is the GOAT of gymnastics. That's not really a debate, right? Usain Bolt is the GOAT sprinter. That's really not a debate, right? Michael Phelps is the GOAT swimmer, right? That's really not up for debate, right? Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, he's the GOAT boxer, right? That's not really a debate. Like, so we get into the football and the baseball and the basketball, especially the basketball. We get into debates about who's the greatest. Troll, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you coming through. And yeah, Tank, I heard Tank is going to fight Jake Paul. Yeah, we do boxing too. But I think Tank is gonna beat Jake Paul ass. That's just me personally. Because Jake Paul to me is not a real boxer. He's like a social media boxer. Like, I don't even know if that's a term or not, but Jake Paul's not a real boxer to me. Like, especially once I seen what Mayweather did to him, and Mayweather way past his prime, Mayweather made Jake Paul look crazy. So Tank is going to destroy him. But as for Gretzky, yeah, Gretzky is the GOAT of hockey. That's not a debate. And he's the only real GOAT in a team sport. Like even soccer has a debate about who's the GOAT between whether it's Messi or Ronaldo or Maradona or Romero, LA. You know what I mean? You could debate the soccer stuff too. See, the hockey stuff, you can't debate that. It's Wayne Gretzky and that's it. So when we have GOAT conversations, that's my stance. There is no team sport other than the National Hockey League that has a GOAT, in my opinion. Everything else is subjective. If you can argue about a GOAT, then you're not a GOAT, in my opinion. Oh, and yes, Floyd does stays in top shape. I mean, Maradona was that guy though. Handball or not, Maradona was that dude. He was that dude. Maradona was that dude. Yeah, and Gretzky did it all. Listen, Wayne Gretzky almost scored 200 points in a season. You know how crazy that is in hockey? You only play 82 games in hockey. The man had 196 points in a season, Wayne Gretzky. And this is before, hockey back in the 1980s was rough, bro. They were fighting, they were cross-checking, they were doing all type of stuff. And you didn't have the space on the ice in the 80s that you have now. You understand what I'm saying? If Wayne Gretzky played now in his prime, he'd score 200 points. Easy. Easy. Yeah, Wayne Gretzky played in today's hockey. He would score 200 points a game, 200 points a year, easy. And yeah, I do UFC too. And speaking of goats of UFC, for me, I know the UFC could be subjective too, but for me, it's John Jones. Like John Jones was probably the most intimidating dude I've ever seen in the octagon like that. Like he just scared the bejesus out of folks. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson was pretty good too, but I don't think he John Jones though. Like John Jones, not only could he really fight, he could wrestle, and just the intimidation factor. Like John Jones scared the bejesus out of folks, man. Like you could see fear in people when John Jones was on the other side. People were scared of John Jones, like literally scared of him. I mean, Jones, yeah, okay, he got the personal issues, the drug issues and all that. But if we could separate, we separate athletes all the time, though. We separate. Listen, Lawrence Taylor was one of the great football players of all time, and that's a fact. But at the end of the day, he was a flaming crackhead and a SA abuser. So, but that don't take away what he did on the field. No, I'm not saying technically that John Jones he's nothing like Randy Couture. Technically, hell, he's not even like Anderley Van De Silva, right? In terms of technicality, I'm just talking about overall who dominated like John Jones did. Like John Jones dominated. He just wasn't winning fights. He was dominating fights. Like it's a way to win. You know what I mean? Like, and John Jones was giving him the business. He was definitely giving him the business. But yeah, UFC, I do UFC too. But yeah, for all y'all in here, like, subscribe, share, hit the Cash App, support your boy. And yeah, we in here early morning, just trying to get a couple of things, trying to do some stuff, trying to get used to this, streaming stuff. You know, I'm not a streamer. This is not, a regular thing for me. I'm trying to learn how to do it. I'm glad people came through and at least showed up. That's all I could ask for right now, just for folks to show up and talk to a brother. You know what I mean? I'm all for a conversation. Because that's what we come here for, right? Yeah, Tom retired him. I give you that, troll, but it's just my personal opinion. I still think John Jones was that guy. Like, but that's just me. I re- you think he ducked Francis? I think it was more to it than him. I don't think John Jones ever ducked anybody. I think that was more a Dana White thing than a John Jones thing, honestly. Nah, you no, you good, troll. Type in the chat, bro. That's what I need. I need folks to type in the chat, change the algorithm so I could get some views or whatever. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, I'm going with CT, bro. Yeah, I'm going with CT all day. Even though I don't think CT is a fighter per se, but if I had to choose between him and Zach, I'm going with CT all day. And yeah, I want John and Tom to fight too, but John retired now. He just retired, just out of the blue. So can't force. But I think like with anything else, the right amount of money will bring his ass back. If they throw the right amount of money at John Jones, he'll come back and do that fight. I believe. But who am I, right? I'm just a fan. Yep, I'm just a fan. Yeah, like I said, I don't think he ducked him. I think it was more a Dana White thing than a John Jones thing. That's just my personal opinion, though. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. I think it was much more of a Dana White thing than a John Jones thing. But yeah, I'm very curious to see about that Tank Jake Paul fight. I think that's going to be fun to watch Jake Paul get beat up finally by a real boxer that's somewhat in his prime. You know what I mean? He been asking, I want competition. I want competition. Yeah, Tank gonna knock your silly ass out. And I can't wait to watch that. That's gonna be funny for me. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that. That's gonna be hilarious for me. But yeah, all y'all, I appreciate all y'all coming in here. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 cents, a dollar. We cheap in here, man. I'm a cheap date. I don't need a lot. Troll, I'm certain that's probably the case. They they could be in bed together, making decisions together and all that stuff. Because Dana White is pretty much Vince McMahon at this point. You know what I mean? Like that's who Dana White remind me of. He remind me of a young Vince McMahon. I mean, wouldn't you duck it too if you was Tank? Wouldn't you duck it if you was Tank? I don't know if I want to do that. Would want to do that match again after the first time around if I'm Tank. I would look at that shit side eye too, like, oh, maybe I don't want that roach smoke. I might not want that again. I'm just saying. Yeah, did now troll you on to something with that. You're on to something with that. That would be a really good fucking fight, bro. Tank and Shakur. Yeah. That would be a really good fight. I'm with you with that, troll. I'm with you with that. That would be a really good fight. Yes, that would be a really good fight. Tank and Troll. Tank and Shakur, I mean. Yes, I definitely agree with that. That would be a really good fight. So we gonna see. We're gonna see. I mean, he didn't do horrible, but he wasn't very good either. He wasn't very good in that fight. No, was he horrible? No, but he wasn't very good either. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened to him in the course of that. I think Roach hit him a couple of times, and it made him think like, hold on, this dude hit hard. I might have to be a little bit more careful when I'm running up in there like that, because this dude hits hard. Yeah, I think he took a couple of punches, and he was like, "Oh shit, let me hold on a minute. Let me not like just run up in there because this dude hits hard." I think what happened to Tank happened to Mayweather too when he fought Pacquiao. In my honest opinion, like Mayweather, he was fighting Pacquiao the first 3 rounds, and then round 4 came. Pacquiao hit him with that right, stumbled Mayweather, and then Mayweather ran for the rest of the fucking fight. He ran because he ain't want to take too many more of those right hands. Something, boxing is psychological too, man. People not stupid. You get hit, you get your bell rung, it makes you think like, hold on, this dude hit kind of hard here. Let me think about this. I might want to use this jab more and that hook less. Yeah, be like that when you get caught. Yeah, physical chess. You absolutely right, Yeti. Physical chess. That's exactly what boxing is. Physical chess. Yeah, Roach did eat some good shots. Troll, I agree. Yes. Distant was good, brother. Good morning to you, Distant. What you got going on today? We just in here chopping it up. We talking about UFC right now in boxing. But yeah, the physical chess, that's exactly what boxing is. Oh yeah, all is definitely well. I got a little bit of sleep messing with you guys on Bob shit last night. It was a pretty good show. Between Bob and CT, or CT and Bob, I get my political fix. But I wanted to come on here today and do what I like, and that's sports. Like that's my thing. There's a reason why my name is BD Sports. You know what I mean? Like I'm a sports junkie. Like that's what I do, and I watch everything. And when I say everything, I watch. The only thing I really don't watch is golf. I'm not a golf person. But I watch everything else. I watch UFC, I watch wrestling, I do the car racing, NASCAR, F1, and of course, all of the major sports. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think any sporting event should be held in a government facility, especially the damn White House. Like, come on, man. Holding fights at the White House, that I don't think that's a good look. Just me personally. Now, Trump is an entertainer, so I could see him doing it just because, he's just like that. Now, I don't really do too much drag racing. I stick to the NASCAR and the F1. Yeah, I don't do too much drag racing too much. And for real, they don't really show drag racing like that on TV like that. Yeah, the drag racing, they don't really show on TV like that. It's almost drag racing is almost like the competitive fishing. Like you don't see the competitive fishing on TV like that either, even though they're competitive fishers out here. I mean, I just don't see it on TV like that. I know they show it, but it's not like a big, huge thing that you see on TV a lot like that. Nah, Tank is that guy though. And I can't wait for him to beat up Jake Paul. I'm gonna enjoy that. Yeah, that's gonna be funny watching him beat up Jake Paul, especially after he done called everybody out. I want competition. I want competition. Yeah, Tank gonna give you competition, all right. He gonna knock your silly ass out. Yeah, I watched some fishing tourneys too. Listen, I used to work on a job back in the days that was a boating. They were a boating company. It was called Mercury Marine, and they used to make boats and boat engines. So I know a little bit about the competitive fishing stuff, but that's not my strong suit per se. I know a little bit about it though. But yeah, I'm glad all of y'all came in here to talk. I appreciate all y'all showing up and giving your boy a little bit of burn. You know, I'm just trying to get my stuff off the ground. I don't have it like a lot of other people do. I work a regular job, so I can't just, you know, focus on all my time in the streaming world. But I'm gonna try to get on here a little bit more, and hopefully, I'll have folks like y'all that'll come talk to me. You know what I mean? Support the channel, like, sub, share. You know, hit the Cash App. We gonna do it. You know what I'm saying, gonna do it with my welfare speaking New York accent. Yeah, Bob, I'm talking about you. You gonna get these hands too. I hope you come up in here so I can show you these hands that I'm gonna give you. But yeah, we gonna do it because the sports thing. Sports is universal. That's the one thing I've learned about sports is that sports is universal. Whether you a Democrat or a Republican or anything in between, the one thing we could all agree on is the sports. That's the one thing we could all agree on is sports. And we don't got to get into our feelings. We don't got to be all emotional. You understand what I'm saying? It's just it's a way to like come. I think sports is the universal way for mankind to come together because mankind seems to do better when we come together using sports. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, sports is universal. And I do a little of everything. So we could talk a little bit of everything because I know a little bit of everything when it comes to that realm. And let's keep it 100. You know, sports and politics will collide occasionally. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of the beast. Sports is not a monolith on its own. You know, the politics of the day does affect the sports world. That's a fact. And we can't really get around it like that. I got Canelo, troll. Yeah, I remember we was on Bob Live and Random was coming at me because I told him that Kobe wasn't top five and he thought I was crazy. Listen, Kobe, the Mamba was a beast. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. But is he better than Jordan? No. Is he better than LeBron? No. Is he better than Kareem? No. I don't even think Kobe is better than Magic or Bird, right? Like that's just my personal opinion. This is not a knock against Kobe. Kobe was a monster. But is he in my top five? Nah. He in my top 10, just not my top five. Nah, LeBron is much more than Karl Malone 2.0, bro. If you want to compare LeBron to somebody, he's more like Magic than like Karl Malone. Listen, 90% of all basketball fans have the same opinion you do, Distant. Listen, 90% of basketball fans have the same opinion you do about Jordan being the GOAT. Yeah, Kobe did take a lot of bad shots. Kobe just took a lot of shots. Period. Kobe was a high volume shooter. This is not to knock his greatness because Kobe was great. He's one of the great defensive perimeter defenders ever to play basketball. Let's give him that too. You know, people talk about Kobe's offense all the time. Nobody talks about his defense though. Kobe was a hell of a defender. A hell of a defender. I think he might be, matter of fact, since I got the stuff right here in front of me, let's take a look at Kobe Bean Bryant. Let's take a look at Kobe Bean Bryant. Let's see. 11 times NBA All First Team. 9 times NBA All Defensive First Team, 3 times NBA All Defensive Second Team. So basically, 12 times Kobe Bryant was on the All Defensive Team. 12 times. 2-time final MVP, 5-time champion, 18-time All Star, 4-time NBA All Star Game MVP, 11-time NBA All First Team. Like, listen, Kobe was that guy. Don't get me wrong. Statistically, he was that guy, right? But is he better than Jordan and LeBron and Bird and Magic? Kareem? No. He just no. Now, do you want to count Kobe's longevity as a part of it? Yes, Kobe played 19, 20 years. Right? Magic only played 13 years. Bird only played 13 years. So these guys didn't play as long as Kobe did. right? They didn't. They didn't have the longevity Kobe had. No, I just said that Kobe was a great defender, not just good. No, he was a great defender. Great. You think Kobe and Shaq are easily beating LeBron and MJ? No. LeBron is not overrated, bro. Listen, the man has 40,000 points. Okay? 40,000 points. And that's to go with 10,000 rebounds and 10,000 assists. Okay, let's just let that sink in for a second. The man has 40,000 points with 10,000 rebounds and 10,000 assists. LeBron James. That's not overrated, bro. That's GOAT stuff. No, statistically, nobody's catching LeBron. Nobody. Nobody's going to score 40,000 points with 10,000 rebounds and 10,000 assists. You're never going to see that. If Luka don't do it, it's not going to get done. Yeah, well, Magic was forced to retire. Remember, he had the HIV. So, he was forced to retire. You know what, Troll? Karl Malone was a great scorer. He was. But if you put him on a super team, he probably wouldn't have had to score that many points like that. If he was on a super team, his scoring would have went down. Yes, that too, Troll. Braun does have the most turnovers, and nobody's going to touch that either. You're right about that. But you know what? For all the turnovers LeBron has amassed, when you got 40,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists, I could live with the turnovers. No, listen, LeBron is a winner. Now, I do agree that he's not a dog. He's not a dog. I agree with that part. But him not being a winner, no, he's a winner. The man still got 4 chips, so he's definitely a winner. If anybody's a stat patter, it's Russell Westbrook. He's a stat patter. If you want to talk about padding stats, LeBron is better than Olajuwon. And Akeem, the dream was that guy. Don't get me wrong. Akeem Olajuwon, he's top 5 center all time, if not top 3, right? When we talk about Akeem Olajuwon. But is he better than LeBron? No. LeBron is a unicorn. LeBron played all 5 positions, bro. Not only he played all 5 positions, LeBron in his prime could guard all 5 positions. He could guard your point guard and your center. Like, you don't got a whole bunch of folks who could do that. Like Dennis Rodman, the only other person I know who could do that, who could guard all 5 positions and do it effectively. Not just, come out on a switch type thing. Like, you could put Dennis Rodman on your point guard for an entire game type stuff. That was LeBron in his prime. LeBron, Miami Heat LeBron could guard all 5 positions easily, no problem. You could put him on your point guard and you could put him on your center. Akeem Olajuwon couldn't guard a point guard. And Akeem Olajuwon was a great defensive center, like one of the great defensive centers of all time. But he couldn't guard your point guard. You couldn't put Akeem Olajuwon on the perimeter and ask him to stay in front of Allen Iverson. You know what I'm saying? LeBron is the most complete basketball player I've ever seen. No, LeBron wasn't a lockdown defender, but he was still a decent enough defender that he could guard all 5 positions. Was he a lockdown defender? No, he's not Kawhi Leonard. He's not Gary Payton. He's not Kobe Bryant. He's not MJ, Scottie Pippen on the defensive end like that. No, but is he a great? Could LeBron be a great defender? Yes, he could. And in his prime, he was. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't, Yeti. No, he wouldn't. Jordan is 60 years old. He's not doing anything at this point. I don't care how much training he do. He's 60 years old, bro. 60. He's not doing all that. Yeah. As great as Michael Jordan was, he can't even dunk anymore. Michael Jordan can't dunk a basketball anymore. He's 60 years old. But yeah, guys, like, sub, share the video, hit the Cash App. I take any donations possible, 50 cents, a dollar. You know, a beggar can't be choosy. But we all love sport, right? We don't do this for our health, We do this to give y'all a good show. I could tell you that right now. Art. Well, I got it pulled up. See, I came prepared this morning. I came prepared. For anybody who want to have that statistical debate. Let's see how many defensive teams LeBron has. LeBron has made 5 NBA all defensive first teams and 1 all NBA defensive second team. So that'd be a total of 6. LeBron's been on 6 all NBA defensive teams. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like LeBron was the greatest defender. No, he's not that. Is he a great help defender, chase down defender? Yes, but one-on-one, LeBron isn't Gary Payton or Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan when it comes to Scottie Pippen. No, it's not that. Who's beating Kobe and LeBron 2-on-2? That's a good question. I mean, I can't. That's a good question. I would have to think about that because that's an awesome too. Kobe, LeBron together. It would have to be somebody in Jordan. Maybe Bird. It couldn't be Bird because Bird wouldn't be able to guard none of them. It would have to be MJ and somebody athletic. Somebody big and athletic. Maybe somebody like a Zion. You know what I'm saying? Or MJ, you know what I mean, and a Rodman type. I think MJ and Rodman would give Kobe and LeBron a good run. Jordan and Rodman, I think they would give MJ and LeBron a good run. Because I don't look at it from an offensive point of view because these are all professionals. They all could score at any given point. These are professional basketball players. They all could put the ball in the basket. My thing is, can you defend, right? That's the main thing. Can he defend? And to your point, Shawn Kemp, they called him the Rain Man because Shawn Kemp was that guy, especially when he was in shape, when he was on the Supersonics, when he was paired with Gary Payton and Nate McMillan. Yeah, the Rain Man got right. And he was dunking on fools, boy. He was dunking on fools left and right, Shawn Kemp. Bird, Kobe, MJ. Yeah, I mean, all those guys you mentioned, Troll, all of them were dogs. That's the difference. Like LeBron, he's never had that dog in him like that. As great as LeBron James is, he ain't never had a dog in him. Like Kobe, you knew Kobe was a dog. right? You knew Kevin Garnett was a dog, right? There's just certain people, you know, that just got the dog stuff is either you got it or you don't. Like that's not something that could be taught. It's either you have that shit or you don't. For real. A lot of people would have rings if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, man. Michael Jordan kept a lot of people from winning rings. And yes, Kobe did work hard, bro. Kobe practiced just as hard as he played. A lot of people don't know that about Kobe, but Kobe practiced just as hard as he played. Like Kobe was that guy, and I miss Kobe. He died way too young. Yeah, Kobe. Yeah, Kobe died way too young, bro. Yeah, LeBron, he don't have that dog in him. I agree with that. LeBron has never been a dog. I don't think anybody's beaten LeBron and MJ two on two. I think that's like the greatest team 2-on-2 team ever, LeBron and fucking Jordan. Like, I don't think anybody fucking with that 2-on-2. Oh yeah, I can listen. The Kobe stuff was very sad. And the fact that he lost one of his kids on top of that, that was even sadder. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was rough. Cause I'm a Kobe fan, and that was rough for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was very, very, very disturbed about how all that happened. No, not Shaq in his prime, Yeti. LeBron could guard centers now, but couldn't nobody guard Shaq in his prime. Shaq was too big and too nimble. Yeah, Shaq in his prime was unguardable. There was no guarding Shaq in his prime. And then if you doubled Shaq, the matter of fact, the only way to deal with Shaq in his prime was to pretty much foul him. You had to foul Shaq. Because if you didn't foul Shaq, he was just going to dunk on you. He was too big, too nimble. Like you talking about a 7 foot, 300 pound dude. Like, was that could move. He wasn't just 7 feet, 300 pounds, and just a big body. He wasn't like a Boban Marjanovic. He wasn't that. Like Shaq was 7 foot, 300 pounds, and could move. He was nimble. He had athleticism. Yeah, he was unstoppable. Right, that part. Shaq prime, he couldn't be guarded in his prime. You had to foul him. That's all you could do with Shaq in his prime was foul him and hope he missed the free throws. But Shaq, to his credit, Shaq was a horrible free throw shooter, but Shaq hit the free throws when it mattered. When you needed him to hit the free throws, he hit them shits. I will give Shaq that. Shaq was a clutch free throw shooter. He was a horrible free throw shooter overall, but when he needed to hit them free throws, when the game was on the line, if it was important, Shaq was hitting them free throws. He hit them free throws when it mattered. Yeah, when it mattered, Shaq hit his free throws. Most times he missed them because most times, listen, Shaq would have probably averaged 30 points a game every year if he'd have hit his free throws. Like Shaq missing all those free throws through his career, especially during his prime, like it knocked off 7, 8 points off his total point per game average. No, that's what I'm saying. Shaq didn't shoot free throws well. He didn't, but he shot them well when it mattered most. And you got to give him that. When it mattered most, Shaq was knocking them down when it mattered. Now, just a regular foul in a regular game, Shaq will go 1 for 15 from the free throw line. But in a playoff game, Shaq was hitting them free throws in a playoff game. And again, he would have averaged 30 points a game in his prime if he was able to hit his free throws on a regular basis. He'd have easily averaged 30, and 15 every year. Because Shaq was going to the line 20 times a night, every night. Matter of fact, it was so bad that teams were having extra centers on their roster just to foul Shaq. You had teams that were literally getting centers just to foul Shaq. They were coming to the game just to foul Shaq, not to do nothing else, just foul Shaq. So yeah, it was very interesting. Shaq in his prime was that guy, right? Very unstoppable. Yeah, Shaq on the Lakers wasn't nothing you was doing with him. Not for real. Like, and he was just a bully. He bullied Olajuwon. He bullied Tim Duncan. He bullied David Robinson. He was just a bully. Like, there wasn't really nothing you could do with Shaq, especially if he throw the ball out, and then repost. Yeah, wasn't really nothing you was doing with him. Nothing. It's either you foul him or he get a dunk. Those were your choices. Foul or get dunked on. So yeah, very interesting stuff. But yeah, again, I appreciate everybody coming, checking your boy out. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, Cash App on the bottom of the screen. Take all donations, 50 cents, $1, you know, whatever works for you, brother. We do. Yeah, listen, Orlando messed that up. Like, Orlando was supposed to give Shaq the money. You know what? Orlando, Shaq, him and Penny together, they would have won a title, I think. At least a title. I'm not saying they would have been a dynasty or they would have been, you know, but they would have been right there with the Bulls competing for sure. Because the Bulls, as great as that Bull team was, they didn't have nothing for Shaq. Yeah, as great as that Chicago Bull team was in the 90s, and that was a great team. I still think the 96 Bulls is the greatest team ever. But as great as them Chicago Bulls team was, they didn't have anything for Shaquille O'Neal. And I think Shaq and Penny would at least got a ring. They might not have got a whole bunch of rings, but they would have got one. Yeah, I think they would have definitely got one. Let's see what that's. They had to move Shaq out of the way so MJ could get in. No, they didn't have to move Shaq out the way, but they knew Shaq was going to be a dominant force. They did know that. They knew that the Bulls' time was running out, and they had to jump on something else, and Shaq was the thing that they were going to jump on. Don't think that didn't happen. That happened just in happenstance. Them pairing Shaq with Kobe, they did that purposely. And I'm always going to believe that they did that purposely. And the person who lost in that was Penny Hardaway. I think they ruined Penny Hardaway when they let Shaq go. They ruined Penny Hardaway when they did that. And Penny Hardaway was that dude, especially when he was healthy. Yeah, Penny Hardaway went hard. Matter of fact, he went so hard they were doing commercial for Penny Hardaway. He had his own sneaker, the whole Little Penny thing with Chris Rock. That was a big, huge thing back in the days. Like them Penny Harachis, like those sneakers went hard. But yeah, I think Penny Hardaway, he got the shit end of the stick when it came to that. And it's a shame that he got the shit end of the stick when it came to that. But again, y'all, I appreciate all y'all coming through, supporting your boy. Like, share, sub, hit the Cash App. Yes, Penny was a star. I mean, listen, that whole Orlando team, it was Penny and Shaq. That's what most people know. But that team also had Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson. You know what I'm saying? That they had a team. Like they had a real team. And that Orlando team they would have got them a chip. I really believe that they would have got them a chip if they'd have kept that team together. If they'd have kept Shaq on Orlando, they would have got a chip. Because again, like I said, as great as the Bull teams were, the Bulls didn't have nothing for Shaq. They didn't have nothing for Shaq. But we gonna, it's always gonna be just speculation at the end of the day. Is we always gonna have a bunch of what ifs. What if this happened and what if that happened? So it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Well, you got one right now, like Travis Hunter. So you got one out here that's like a Dion, like a Bo, somebody who could play both sides of the ball. You got Travis Hunter to do that. So we're gonna see how Travis Hunter do on both sides of the ball. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen like a two sport superstar. You probably not gonna see that in today's world because these players are making too much money now, and nobody's gonna take that chance on letting you sign somebody to a $50-100 million contract to play football. I'm pretty sure that same team who invested all that money isn't going to turn around and let that person play baseball, right? That's what ruined Bo Jackson, for real. Yeah, the dual sport thing would have worked. If Bo Jackson would have never got hurt, you would see more dual sports people. But when Bo Jackson got hurt, that kind of ended all that dual sports stuff because people don't want to make that kind of investment into somebody for them to get hurt playing another sport. Right. Listen, Bo Jackson was fucking amazing. Like, and here's the thing, when he was playing baseball, if I'm a catcher, I'm letting Bo Jackson score. You know what that must have been like for a catcher watching Bo Jackson running a 4.4 at 250 pounds, coming full speed rounding third base. You know what that must have been like for an opposing catcher? I'm letting him score, bro. I'm not getting in front of that. And a lot of these catchers, when they seen Bo Jackson rounding third, coming full speed, they were getting out the way. They weren't. They didn't want that smoke with no Bo Jackson. You know, usually it's a catcher's job to guard home plate, right? Stand in front of the plate, block the plate, do anything you can to keep that person from touching home plate. But with Bo Jackson, these dudes were getting out the way. They were making business decisions. They were making business decisions. Oh yeah, Bo was that guy, bro. Yeah, Bo Jackson, he was that dude. Yeah, Bo Jackson, he was definitely that guy. But yeah, it's too much money involved now to have the whole two sport thing. But yeah, Bo Jackson, he's one of the greatest athletes. Yeah, the whole 42 thing, like, yeah, motherfuckers don't know nothing about no 42. I don't want to listen to all that gematria stuff. Jack, he ain't know what he was talking about. The FBA that was on CT shit yesterday, he ain't know what he was talking about. Jackie Robinson, like, Jackie Robinson was one of the great baseball players of all time, regardless of race. If Jackie Robinson was a white dude, he would have been regarded as one of the great baseball players of all time. Know that. Yeah, Jackie Robinson, he was that guy. Yeah, he was that guy. And it wasn't just because he broke the color line. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they were going to do that anyway. Like, Afro Nero was trying to make the point why CT was trying to say, well, why didn't they just stay to themselves? Why didn't they just keep their own league? And what CT failed to realize in that argument was you got to remember the times that they were in. When the Negro Leagues existed, it existed during Jim Crow. You think these people had access to stadiums? Right? They didn't have access to stadiums. They didn't have access to assets and stuff like that under Jim Crow. These people were playing on fucked up fields. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't about wanting to stay all black. I think they would have stayed all black if they could have. But the economics of the times that they were playing in didn't allow them to stay all black. That was the issue. They didn't have money because back then in the 1910s and 1920s and 1930s, as a black person, you weren't able to get that kind of capital. So of course they were going to go cross over into the major leagues eventually. It was about quality, nothing else. It wasn't about race. It was about quality. And let's call an ace and a spade. There was a lot of Negro League players that were better than the major league players. A lot of them, right? You had Josh Gibson. Josh Gibson, one of the great baseball players of all time that don't nobody know about. Josh Josh Gibson was called the Black Babe Ruth for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You had Satchel Paige, you had Cool Papa Bell, you had Lawrence Doby. You know what I mean? There was a lot of great Negro League players. Yeah, look him up, Google him. Josh Gibson, they called him the Black Babe Ruth. There was a lot of great black Negro League baseball players, and they didn't get they had the barnstorm to get around. You understand what I'm saying? They had the barnstorm. They had to play in fields, like fields that weren't really tended to good like that. But they were still playing. But let's call an ace and a spade. Money controls a lot of this stuff. And when you don't have the finances to produce a quality product, that's what you're gonna get. The Negro Leagues was a product, but it wasn't a quality product because they just never had the capital to have a quality product. Right. We know about all of those players, right? The Joe DiMaggios, the Mickey Mantles. And you know why you know about Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth? What the one thing they all have in common? They played for the New York Yankees. That was the one common denominator. They played the New York Yankees, like them or not, they're America's baseball team. If the Cowboys are America's team in the NFL, the Yankees are America's team in Major League Baseball. That's a fact, and can't nobody really dispute that. Yeah, the Yankees are America's team in Major League Baseball. If you don't know nothing about baseball, the average person who knows nothing about baseball gonna know who the New York Yankees are, right? I mean, that's everybody knows who the New York Yankees. People who don't watch baseball are running around here in public with Yankee hat on. Yeah, Josh Gibson was that guy. They called him the Black Babe Ruth for a reason. Yeah, Josh Gibson was that dude, bro. He was definitely that dude. But again, the whole Negro Leagues argument that they were trying to make yesterday, it wasn't based in reality, in my opinion, because you think black people didn't want to stay black? You think they didn't want to stay amongst themselves? Nah. Of course they wanted to stay amongst themselves, but the times people always want to not mention the times that these people were living in. A black person didn't have the freedom of movement in the 1920s that they do now, 2025. They just did not have that. Even in the North, you didn't have the freedom of movement and access to capital in 1920s America as a black person that you would have in 2025. Like, that's just the reality. And people don't, and nobody wants to talk about that because it doesn't fit a narrative. It doesn't fit that race hustling narrative that a lot of folks in these YouTube streets have. Oh, yeah, Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani, he's going to go down as one of the great baseball players ever. And, I'm an Aaron Judge person, right? But Ohtani is better than Judge only because Ohtani can pitch. And when you can pitch, yeah, that sets you apart. That sets you apart. Let's call it what it is. I mean, pitching sets you apart when you could pitch. Yeah, when you could pitch, that sets you apart. And Otani, he's set apart from everybody else for the mere fact that he could pitch. Yeah, when you could pitch, you could do a lot. Yes, that part. That part, trolling. A lot of people aren't willing to say that. Sports was very vital to getting equal rights. Very, very. Let me highlight that because that is so true. This is very true. Sports was vital to getting equal rights. Yes, it sure the fuck was. It sure the fuck was. I agree with that 1000%. That it was vital. Vital. Yeah, Judge is a better hitter, but Otani is not a bad hitter either. I mean, Otani get right. Let's call what it is. The man, he matching Judge on the home run stuff. If Judge got 34 home runs, Otani's like at 31, right? But the pitching part, that's the key. That Otani can pitch. And not only can he pitch, he can be a dominant pitcher, right? He's not just any pitcher, right? He could be a dominant Cy Young worthy pitcher, Otani, when he's right. So yeah, that's important. Judge is a better hitter, but Otani's a better player. Absolutely, troll. Absolutely. I agree with that. 100, 1000%. Yes, sports did have a vital role in to play when it comes to equal rights in this country. Sports had a vital role in that. A vital role. I agree with that 1000%. So again, for anybody who just coming up in here, like, share, sub, hit the Cash App. All support is appreciated and it matters. Let's see what you got. Let's see. Jackie Robinson reportedly ran the 100-yard dash in 9.7 seconds, which translates to roughly 10.6 seconds for the 100 meters. Jesse Owens won gold with the 10.3 low as a side note. Okay, yeah. Listen, Jackie Robinson was that guy. I tell people that all the time. Jackie Robinson was that guy. Yeah, Jackie Robinson was a great baseball player. He wasn't a good baseball player. And if you turned Jackie Robinson white, he would have still been the same great baseball player. Period. Period, point blank. He would have still been the same great baseball player if he was a white dude. And that's just the reality. Yeah, I think I might start doing this in the mornings before everybody start coming up and doing their lives and all that stuff. So I gotta go charge this stuff now. Thank you all for coming and hollering at your boy. I appreciate that. Again, like, share, subscribe, hit the Cash App, 50 cents, $1. All donations is appreciated. I'm gonna get off here so I could charge my stuff, go run the YouTube streets for a little while. And I'll try to see you guys tomorrow around this same time. I can give y'all 2 hours in the morning. That's not a bad thing for me. I think I could do that. Give you guys 2 hours of some sports, just random sports talk early in the morning. That'd be cool. But thank you all again for coming out. Again, like, share, sub channel. The Cash App is there. You can hit that if you want. And this your boy BD, and I'ma holla at y'all on the come up. All right, later.